Hello.
How's it going, guys? Happy Halloween. So, this is the first, hopefully, of many annual Film Buffs Halloween special, whatever you want to call this. I just wanted to do a different kind of video today to celebrate Halloween. This is a very important holiday, for us. We really love Halloween, and horror movies are a really big part of why I started doing this and why I have a passion for movies. And me and Cam have bonded over them in the past. So we just wanted to talk to you guys about some of our favorite Halloween movies, and we want to hear from you as well. This is more of just an open discussion and less of like a scripted, formalized review. And we're just going to talk about these movies, and we want to hear feedback from you guys as well. So, without anything else to say, we're going to turn to Cameron for the first pick.
So, for my Halloween movie that I really like, it's a scary movie, series, I guess. I think they're really funny and a good movies to watch, with your friends when you're hanging out on Halloween. Not super scary, but really enjoyable. So, yeah.
Which one would you say is your favorite? Because there was the first one that was like a parody of Scream.
Probably the first one.
Okay. Alrighty.
We still have one more to watch.
We have two more. Because we've only seen the first three, and we still need to watch 4 and 5. So, is that your first one?
Yes.
Alright. The first movie I'm going to be talking about, kind of going off of Cam's, horror comedy thing. I'm going to talk about Zombieland. Zombieland is one of the first R-rated movies I ever watched, and I remember watching it around Halloween time in 7th grade and just loving every second of it. I watched that movie probably 6 times, and it very much to me feels like Halloween. That movie feels like being a teenager again and watching an R-rated movie when you're not supposed to. And I don't know, it just brings back a lot of fond memories, and it's a pretty good horror comedy. I really like Jesse Eisenberg in it. Emma Stone is in that movie. She's pretty funny. Woody Harrelson? Yeah, he's in that movie and he's great. It's not anything that's gonna blow your mind. It's not like a elevated horror movie or whatever, but it is a lot of fun, and I think it's one of my favorite zombie movies. Have you seen Zombieland?
I have not.
Okay, well,
now I want to watch it.
Yeah. It's a very solid horror comedy.
So for my second movie, I want to talk about Trick or Treat, which is just the embodiment of Halloween. I feel like I've never watched it before, a couple weeks ago, and it was really awesome. I loved the way that it was kind of an anthology series or whatever, and it's interesting, but it's also not. You don't have to really invest yourself in it, it would be perfect to play in the background of a Halloween party, or just along the lines of Hocus Pocus, where it's just a good Halloween movie. And I definitely want to add it to my rotation of Halloween movies you have to watch.
Yeah. I feel similarly. It was also my first time watching it when we watched it together.
Really?
Yeah, earlier this month. And I've been hearing about it for such a long time, and it really does work. What I was talking about earlier with Zombieland, this movie very much is the essence of Halloween, and I like how much it plays on traditions and urban legends and stuff like that. Sam as a villain is so cool. Just his design and kind of how cute he is, really. I don't know, I like how much personality he has and kind of how silly Sam is, but also terrifying. And I really like how, again, I was just saying, they play on the Halloween traditions a lot of with jack-o'-lanterns, and the principal is really a child murderer, or this group of special needs kids was thrown by parents off of a bus, and their spirits still haunt this lake. Just stuff like that I think we need more of. We need more of that classic kind of urban myth horror movie, and I think this Trick or Treat is definitely one of my favorites. So the next one I'm going to be talking about is When Evil Lurks. This is a new horror movie that just came out, I think, earlier this month on Shudder. I've been hearing a lot about it since... who talked about it first? Ben? Our friend Ben?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I heard a lot about it on like TikTok and stuff. And this movie is definitely the best horror movie of 2023, like new release. Because we'll talk about this later this year when we talk about 2023 as like a whole. But horror movies in 2023 have been severely lacking and are having a down year. So it was really nice to see something creative and fresh in the horror realm. And I don't want to spoil too much. I'm not going to tell you what this movie's about just because it is way better to go into it blind. But it is heart-pumping, it's shocking, it's devastating, it's constantly just berating you with terrible things happening, but in a way that doesn't make you ever feel queasy or, like,
I felt quite
nauseous. But I mean, like, in a way, like, not in, like, a Saw way, where Saw is just about the gore, and that's the shock value. The shock value is the situations and the panic and fear that overwhelms you while you're watching the movie. I personally think it was one of the scariest movies I've seen in a really long time. So, yeah, When Evil Lurks is great. Please, I'm going to be talking about this movie way more throughout the rest of the year. But please go check out When Evil Lurks, because it's my favorite newer horror movie to have come out.
So, for the third movie that I'm picking is Insidious. I first watched this movie...
I think when we first started dating. So about like 2 years ago.
3 years.
3 years ago.
And it just has really stuck with me. Like, I have not forgotten this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And every time that it's playing, I'm still so intrigued. And, like my sister was watching it, and I just sat down on the couch and started watching it. Like, I can't take my eyes away from this movie. It's so good. And it's really scary. And it scared me, like, everybody knows that one scene, and it got me good, it really did, but this is one of those movies where you can always go back to it, and you're still gonna feel those initial feelings when you first watch it.
I really like Insidious as well. James Wan is one of my favorite horror directors, and he, I think, very much understands possession movies and ghost movies very well, and this movie is another prime example of that. It kind of, like, visually looks very cheap, and, like, I don't know, it kind of looks like it was edited on iMovie, but I think that kind of works in its favor because of how goofy it can be at times, and how it can lighten the air, where it's not, like, you know, demon after demon after demon after demon. But I think that also makes when scary shit happens in the movie that much more scary, because it kind of drops on you. And yeah, this is it's a classic. It's Insidious. This is, I think, one of the more scary movies I've seen. It very much gets under my skin. So yeah, I agree. Good pick, Cameron. So I have two that I'm going to talk about. I want to talk about Coraline, and I want to talk about the original Halloween. So let's talk about those two. I have other favorite horror movies. Like, I would probably say my favorite horror movie of all time is Suspiria. I love that movie. It is beautiful. It is haunting. It is genuinely terrifying. I really love that movie. But the original Halloween is one of the reasons why I started writing horror. That movie was a huge deal for me back in middle school when I first started getting into movies. It was perfect. It was atmospheric. It had an interesting plot. It was simple, but it embodied that sense of Halloween, and it got the atmosphere correct. And I think I hone in on that a lot when I think about horror movies. And I kind of use the original Halloween as like a benchmark for what a good horror movie should have. Like, what a good classic ass horror movie should be. It should be like the original Halloween. But with Coraline, one, I'm a huge Coraline fan. I have a Coraline tattoo. Um, it is, to me, one of the best movies ever made. How layered that movie is, and how perfect the stop motion animation is, how great the voice acting is, how deep the universe is, and what you get out of that movie is different for every person. I just think it goes above and beyond any other children's movie I've ever seen, and I think it is also the perfect movie to watch around Halloween time with friends, especially if you're around our age, because it was pretty big when we were kids. I remember seeing it in the theater, and the second I saw the other mother, not even in the like full spider form, I ran immediately. And so yeah, it's always like Coraline's always in like the back of my mind, creeping me out somewhere. So I think about that movie constantly. So I would be remiss if I didn't place it on this list. So that is our favorite horror. Some of our favorite horror movies. Not we didn't get to include everything. Like I didn't get to talk about Scream or what are some other good horror movies like Nope and Jordan Peele and all that good stuff. So like these are just a couple that we've watched recently that we wanted to share with you guys. So please leave a comment. Tell us what you like to watch around Halloween time. What gets you in this scary mood? Cameron, do you have anything to say?
Thanks for watching. You guys are awesome. Make sure to follow and like and subscribe. And happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, everybody.